afternoon to all my compatriots out there. I want to talk about the fatal attraction and wonders of our teens in the universities towards communism. I keep hearing the left, extreme left, talking about the wonders. I'm talking about the Democrat Party. It's no more democratic. It's not the Democrat Party of Kennedy, Truman. It's now, thanks to twisted minds like Bill Clinton and other ex-presidents, especially the peanut farmer, I forget his name right now. You have to excuse me. My neurons are not as active as it used to be when I was a young person. But these people talk. Have to talk into support an ideology which has caused the death of over 100 million. In some cases, I've read it's up to 150 million people. That's not including Islam, which has been have caused the death of over 2,000 million, which I believe is what I read once, since its creation in the year 600, or let's put it this way, 600 years after Christ, after the death of Christ, based on the Bible, because it was based on the Bible. Let me go back to communism before I lose my path and what I want to say. We are in the universities, because I once studied at colleges, a couple of colleges, including here in Puerto Rico and in the United States, Central YMCA Community College, and you have professors that are indoctrinating the youth in this path of socialism, which ends up in communism, basically 100% of the time, and it's there forever. There's no way of getting it out unless I don't know, there's some kind of a miracle and people revolt in some way, and the leaders don't have the power to maintain a military that will support the oppression. Most of the time they're just going to be there forever. Like in Cuba. Cuba's been there. It's been there for over 60 years, and it's probably going to continue being there. What amazes me is what I saw about what's happening in Cuba. There's no coffee. The main table's preference of a drink for the Cuban people is coffee. It's like in every table. I mean, who doesn't like coffee? Who doesn't want a cup of coffee in the morning? The main staple is coffee in Cuba. And they don't have any coffee. These people, the only people that have coffee is the leadership and those that support the leadership, or the oppressive system, like the national police or the military. And if you're against, and if you show a sign of being against of a position against the government, forget about it. You probably won't even drink coffee either. And another thing I was watching is a photo and video of the supermarkets empty, completely empty. I posted it on my Facebook. I hope people are watching this, because it's the same thing that AOC and Bernie Sanders are rooting for. They're rooting for that kind of evil system where definitely you might probably die of hunger. Well, I'm talking it caused the deaths of millions of people. If you read about the Ukraine famine of 1932 to 33 and the atrocities that Stalin caused by taking away the seeds to produce food, just because there were people protesting against him. This guy was the devil incarnate. He took away. He had the people. He had his the country police take away their source of revenue and of producing. These people will finish. Will do away with production. It's like Bernie Sanders saying that. I don't know if this was true. In one area, I read that he was requesting a 95% tax, which I don't doubt because they don't can destroy production. They just want to gain power. That's all. It's a mean of power by terrorizing. In another area, it says 85%, which is just as destructive. You know, who can stand and who can't? Who's going to be able to say, well, withstand an 85% tax? Let's say it was less than 95. It's still destructive. You know, whoever is going to try to produce or start producing for the country and has to go through that, besides having to pay the employees, even maybe the rent. But then that might finish too because everything goes through the government. But the government is going to be if the communism is ever wins, they say socialism. You know, they socialism. So it sounds more smooth and it sounds more humane, like in social. To be socialism. They don't use communism because a lot of people have gone through it and they know what communism is all about. All those who experimented, the Cubans, the Venezuelans, the people from Nicaragua, those who lived through it in Bolivia, with Evo Morales. There's no more there, thank God. The same system which those who have suffered the same system of government in North Korea. Let me put dictatorship, not government. But Russia, the ex-Soviet Union, and in China, even though they're open to free market, you got a lot of people fleeing China because even though it's not a strict, hardcore communism like it used to be, because it got free market, there still exists the oppression because you only got one government system, and that's the only thing established, and that's the only thing, the only choice you got. And if you go against it, they're gonna persecute you, maybe kill you, maybe incarcerate you, make you disappear. Period. In North Korea, people don't realize the severity, especially these young kids coming out of college, where they're asking them questions. I see them from people from Fox News and other conservative media interviewing these young guys, and they don't know a damn thing about communism or socialism. You ask them a question about somebody or the system, and they don't even know. Or they come up with something, some weird answer, like even though this has to do not with it, but it was like an example. Do you know who the Statue of Liberty is? They'll probably say, "Oh, it's Statue of Liberty." What? It's a statue in some kind of statue in Central Park? Because they don't know nothing. They can't answer. The universities they sent you in And it's not like they're teaching people, they're graduating, and yeah, you got a diploma, you graduated, you're a university professor now, or doctors. You study medicine, you don't know anything about medicine, then, or you just they let you in, and maybe you're paying under the table to be a doctor, and they say, okay, here you graduate, and you don't even know how to cut a fingernail, or use a scissors for eyebrows, or I don't know, nothing. Or use a Q-tip to clean your ears. You probably use it for your nose, or for your eyeglasses or something, and not for what's supposed to be useful. So this is what's happening in our universities. People are being indoctrinated because they're using weak minds to get ahead in life where they're not supposed to be. They don't qualify to be. People who want to be doctors and they don't qualify to be doctors, but they're letting them go to the university. And if you say something, you're racist. You're racist. You discriminate. They're probably even sue. Because what they're doing is a lot of these people, let's sue, but they're discriminating against me. They're not letting me pass they're making my life miserable because of the color of my skin. No, it's because of the quality of your brain cells, of your talent. You have none. So why don't you go study to be a plumber, or a mechanic, or radio technician, or a computer technician or something. Maybe you don't even qualify for that either. Or go into the military, like I did. I went into the military, I served. And then I worked for the Postal Service. I knew I wasn't qualified for a lot of things, even though I tried. Thank God my son did it and he succeeded. But to the point, let's go back to Cuba again. They're doing barbaric things, and this dissident, Jose Daniel Ferrer, and I'm going to repeat it again, and I'm going to keep on repeating it, and I'm going to keep on denouncing it. They kidnapped him, and they put him in prison. They're torturing him because he was denouncing all these abuses that I'm talking about that exist in Cuba, the lack of medicine, the lack of, you can't produce because they won't let you. Remember, if you produce and you become a businessman like Donald Trump, but that's too much power. They don't want that because they know they give you that power, and a lot of people the power to produce and become their own private sector or businessman. They know they're in danger of losing their power. They don't want that. They don't want free elections. Right now in Cuba, there is no free elections. The only election that exists is between the communists, the Communist Party, and they are the one picked by the Congress, the type of Congress, the community, their own assembly picks their own people, and you select between those people, which is the less worse, or who's going to do something, which can't do nothing because there is nothing. They're not going to let you. They're not going to let them fix anything, basically, because there's people there. You see them as living in such a squalor type of life in these conditions that are not even fit to live in. And if they have problems, like some of the old buildings from over 60 years ago, over 100 years ago, crumbling and falling apart, they call their leaders, or the leaders of their town, or barrio, or sector, or district, And they'll say, yeah, yeah, we're going to help you out. Oh, sure. What you need? Oh, we need this. We need this to fix this. This building is crumbling, and they never fix it up. Why? Because sometimes they themselves are in the same condition. You see these people, reporters on the news in Cuba. You see them well dressed, and sometimes a lot of the clothes they have are donated, or they probably get it through the Salvation Army or something. I don't know. Families that send them the clothes. You know, one time I remember there was this music band playing. I think one of the big music bands of the National Orchestra of Cuba, and people, you know, they were announcing that those people, the clothes they were using, the ties and the tuxedos and all that, it was donated or rented. I don't know, donated. I think it was donated. And I'm not surprised about it, because I remember I had to donate things. I told my own wife, see if the church can donate things when I think it was one of the hurricanes devastated the island. And I told her, heck, let's pick up things because they need food and all that. And she, you know, she sent me a lot of things. I even donated some things on my own. I'm not a rich guy, but you know, I at least tried through the church and part on my part. My wife was a bigger help than me. My brother helped me out, and you know, we would try to send clothes, nice, clean clothes, which were used. We sent them basically a lot of water and a lot of food. But this, like I said, this guy, Jose Daniel Ferrer, is being tortured right now in that nightmare, which is the prisons of Cuba. He's in one of them. He's being tortured. You know, basically for denouncing and demanding that the communist regime help the people. You know, if they only open up to free marketing, let's say there was oppression, but at least they open up to free marketing for the people to produce. Or let's say there would be a government oppression. You know, I'm not saying it should be like this, but at least free the market. Let them produce, so you can see what kind of a change, like what's happening in China. You got people that are now rich businessmen, even though they're silent, they can't say a damn thing, but at least they're producing. They're becoming a superpower and rich because the people are producing a revenue and making strong the economy. So why does Diaz-Canel, the dictator now, who's a puppet of Raul Castro, because if he gets out of line, I know Raul Castro is going to immediately get him out, one way or another. Why can Diaz-Canel take the steps? So like I say, open the free market. Let the people plant seeds and produce and inventions. You should. A lot of people here don't know that the mines are so creative in Cuba. They've done wonders with a lot of things, with the lack of electricity to power the televisions and other means they've done. That if those mines were set free to produce and was compensated by monetary reward, it would be incredible what these people can do. I mean, the economy in Cuba before the communists took power was an economic power in itself. I mean, they produced wonders. They had a lot of businesses. They had I remember seeing them video of seeing stores like Western Auto in Cuba. They had this big, giant retail store, which let's say like Sears, robot, which was called El Encantada. And it was beautiful. I mean, this big superstore with furnitures and clothes and jewelry and shoes. They were producing shoes of quality. I mean, with such quality, like the ones you would buy, let's say, from Spain or Switzerland. I don't know Switzerland. I know Spain produces a quality of shoes, or like in the United States, like Floorshine and all these other kind of wonderful things and clothes and styles and custom made clothes. And you know, it was a great nation, and it's been reduced to such a point where, you know, just people just gave up. The people used to be rich in Cuba. They had to flee. Bacardi, rum Bacardi, which was established in Cuba for the first time by an engineer, by a Spaniard from Spain. He went to Cuba. He established he was an engineer. He established a rum Bacardi, which became a billion-dollar industry, which is right now here in Puerto Rico. And I think this in Miami. Miami, they have another distiller. And it became a worldwide sensation. The drinks, the rum, even though I don't drink. But it was famous for the rum. One of the most famous, Bacardi. And now it has nothing. I think they have some kind of a rum, which is approved by the regime, and they're open up golf courts and hotels, but the Cubans can't go there. They're not allowed there. Well, they can't afford it anyway, because on the salary they make, you know, they can't afford to pay a $200 a night or more for a room in a luxury hotel. They can't even go to the National, which is a famous, an incredibly famous. I think it came out in the Godfather. It used to be, what? They used to make these shows. One of the best singers, Benny Moré, and all these, even from Puerto Rico, people became famous. A lot of actors and artists and singers went there and they started their career. Bobby Capó from Puerto Rico, a lot of other famous people, Micta Silva. They went to Cuba and they became people. I mean, they became rich because the talent was compensated, and now it's gone. I mean, some of the talents, because they give a 20%, I think it is. I don't know if I'm lying or I think it's what I read, or if it's true or not true. They have to give up a 20% of their income, but then they have to go out, like the United States, and they gotta support that evil system, because they won't allow. They'll destroy them, and they won't let them sing no more or leave the country. A lot of them are smart enough to just go to the United States, develop their talent there, and leave the country, period. They won't come back. A lot of people have done that. Even these sports athletes, they've gone. They fled the island. They won't go back, and here they become millionaires. In Cuba, they were paupers, because they were in a situation that they had nothing there. A lot of them died in extreme poverty. One of the most greatest boxers, which I don't remember his name, I think he fought in the Olympics in the 70s or 60s. I don't know if it was then that year. He was a great boxer. He died a pauper. uh, penniless, and in extreme poverty. You know, you read, see the videos because the videos there. You know, you should be amazed. People who have doctors supporting the system. You got lawyers. You got professionals who make a lot of money in the United States. I mean, they're wealthy, filthy rich, or living very great lives and supporting the system. Do they know that if they had to live the system, everything they have would be gone? They wouldn't have nothing. It's like one time I was talking to this one idiot who's a doctor, but then where I caught him is in his pocket, and he was supporting that system. I said, "Oh yeah, oh so you're willing to get less than $30 a month, like $26 like a Cuba? I don't know if it's less, but I think it was they were raised to $26 a month." I said, "Are you willing to sacrifice everything you got because everything is going to go to the government? You're going to lose everything because then the owner is the dictatorship. Whoever takes power, he's going to be the owner of everything and of your property, and then he'll say, well, everything is mine now, so I'm gonna give you just $26 a month, and you're gonna live on that, and you're gonna be happy. And if you say you're not happy, you're going to prison, or they're gonna beat you up, or they're gonna kill you. They did it to Waldo Payá Sardinha. They did it to Tamayo, Zapata Tamayo. They did it to Laura Poyan. They did it to a lot of other great leaders. They just killed them. I'm talking from 1959 all the way up to here. There's been a lot of them. I can't remember all the names of them. But if you go to Cuban Archive by Maria Weslao, you're going to see the names of a lot of people who died under that system, who were murdered, or who committed suicide by going on a hunger strike, and they self-inflicted their own death, or they committed suicide by taking some kind of poison. Just a lot of them who just couldn't take the torture. They fled the country, and they just lost everything. And some of them could take all the torture they've gone through and committed suicide. There's not one of them who did. Who knows how many others? But believe me, you just got to look at Bernie Sanders' attitude and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's attitude, and believe me, they're going to do the same thing. And let me put it this way: the whole Democrat Party is rooting for that. So they're all intended and crazy to grab power because they know it depends on the lives they're imposing on the people to grab power, to make those who are ignorant enough to not study and read and gain knowledge about what their character really is about and what their plans are. They're just they're saying all these type of lies. They're promising free stuff like AOC and Bernie Sanders. Oh, we're going to give you this free and free and free until they run out of the other people's money. Because they're going to take it out of other people's money. And it doesn't mean that they're going to take it out and they're going to give it to you. It's just they're going to rob everything they can take. They'll probably let a lot of people who are just deceiving and incredibly ignorant to rob, like what happened in Venezuela. It came out in videos. Nicolas Maduro was letting people go into these stores, let's say like at the level of Walmart and Target and other famous stores in Venezuela, and letting people go in there and rob and do whatever and do whatever they want. and the state and the police there wouldn't do nothing about it. They were expropriating. I remember Hugo Chavez say, expropriate this, expropriate that, right there, live on the Venezuelan TV. I wish a lot of Americans could hear that be translated so they know how evil the system is. He would just go out in the street with the people following him, and a lot of his the people who were in the government or the police, and he'd say, expropriate this building. And who's this building? Well, this building is so and so. Expropriate that. Would you like to see that in the United States? Because it's not going to only expropriate, the billionaires, like Bernie Sanders said, billionaires and millionaires, well, even though he's one of them. You're going to expropriate the middle class property. And even the lower class who has the property, even though how poor it is going to be a part of the state. And you're not going to receive anything, nothing. You're going to. It's like Winston Churchill said. This is the precept of envy and equal share of misery, something like that. I don't know if I'm saying that word, but that's what it really is. They will only share misery to the people. That's it. Because they need to live in luxury. If there is nothing, they'll take everything, and you're going to be the slaves of this master. And they don't care. They'll walk around like Stanley did. And he'd have a worry in the world. And if he would just make a list and say, well, I want this guy executed, or I want this this person executed. Sometimes he didn't even know the person. They would bring down, this guy should be arrested and make trump up charges, like they're doing in Cuba with Jose Daniel Ferrer. They're trumping up charges against him that the guy is a criminal, even though he has no criminal past, even though they never mentioned a criminal past, and just because he was playing with a rifle toy in the house of his brother in Miami, they accuse him of which I'm against. I mean, if it was terrorism to terrorize these terrorists who are in power, because they're terrorists and criminals, and I call them a mafia and the real fascists, because here in the United States they call them fascists. All those who they say are conservative, they say we're fascists. I'm a fascist. And all of us who oppose the destruction of the Democrat Party one and the Islamic faction one, because you should hear what Bridget Gabriel has to say about this. They have a plan to destroy the United States. So here, listen to the videos, watch it. I've posted it on my Facebook. I posted it in LinkedIn. I posted it on Twitter. I posted it on WhatsApp. I sent to a lot of people, including people who are extremely ignorant. I sent them my videos so they can hear all these videos that I'm talking about, or proof of what the Democrat Party was, which is now a criminal organization. Because if you support criminal activity and terrorist activity, oh, wait a minute, forgot about that, terrorists. They're also a terrorist organization, criminal terrorist organization, because they support these terrorist groups. They support and they embrace. They also embrace Nazism, because they embrace the Ku Klux Klan, which is against all races. More or less the same thing as Nazis. This is all the same thing. So that means the Democrat Party has turned into a criminal terrorist organization. They turned their back on groups like Antifa, which is a mixed group of terrorists, because they're doing the work for them. And then they beat mercilessly, almost to death, a lot of people brutally beaten, and they say we're the ones who are violent because we support a violent idea. Which violent idea? Because they're the one who are beating up people, going out and beating. So in some cases, conservatives I just couldn't take no more, and a lot of them just fight back. You know, it's like a dog. If you corner him and you try to beat him up with a stick, and you keep on beating, you know, he's gonna. Wait a minute. He'll probably turn and bite you. It's the same thing, you know. And these people are just unbearably terrible. I went to the United States on a visit to see my son in Texas, and visit him. And I bought this MAGA T-shirt, and I remember people looking at me, you know, bad. There was a lot of people rooting for me and saying, "Oh, God bless you, hey." And I have my veterans cap, United States Navy. And a lot of people say, "Hey, thank you for your service." But I was proud. I went to Arlington Cemetery, and there was a lot of support. And people coming over to me, shaking my hands without me knowing them. I felt like the president of the United States. But then you got a lot of extremist dumb people. Like this one lady asked her a question, and I had the MAGA T-shirt on, and she wouldn't answer me. She looked at me. She turned her face. It was an African American lady, and I'm with my wife, who has ancestry of African American. I mean, not African American. I'm talking about African American of Puerto Rico. You know, if you look at her, you could tell she is African. This part, her bloodline is part African. African. And even though I walked around with her, you know, everything, you know, you have a MAGA hat or a T-shirt, or you're racist. You know, it makes no sense. And then you see them, then they're married to a lot of these, how you call it, referring to the white type guys who support these Antifa movement. You see a lot of them, they don't have, they probably don't even want to know about a black woman. So, you know, we have to see our priorities. You know, we're not seeing any love coming out of these people. We're just seeing them attack, lie, and discredit, and trying to impeach a president who's really uniting the nation, who's really fighting for us. You know, it's incredible. This guy is incredible. He's the best president I have ever lived on through my life. You know, because I'm not 100 years old or 150 years old. But then you have Lincoln and you have all these other great presidents. But you know, during my lifetime, well, besides Kennedy, let me put Kennedy, Donald Trump. The only thing I don't like about Kennedy, in this case, even though he had his reasons, I don't agree with it. It's not backing up the Cubans when they invaded the Bay of Pigs to oust the communist dictatorship, Fidel Castro. She should have helped them and get rid of the guy and clean the island, and we would have no problem. We would have spies from the island destroying Venezuela, going into Bolivia, going into Nicaragua, and going to Chile to stir up riots and oust the duly elected president of Chile and Argentina and all these other countries, Costa Rica, and who knows, even Bolivia, who had banned them from going there. A lot of these countries are banning them, banning the doctors to go in there because they found out that of 600 of the doctors, they said only 200 and some of them are qualified. Why? Because maybe they're sending us, a lot of them are spies. They're not qualified. They most likely might be spies, and they're trying to get into the United States. And Obama, Barack Hussein Obama, the biggest enemy we've ever had, the most atrocious liar, monster we had as a president, opened the door to them. And he even talked about the wonders of communism. Can you believe the things coming out of this guy's mouth? Barack Hussein Obama, a Muslim. You know, wake up or put your hearing aids and read and watch the videos. I posted it. The bloody history of communism, the bloody history of Islam. I posted it so you can get knowledge, gain knowledge, and understand what's happening. No, but a lot of these people, including the young guys in college, oh, we want to get. I want to go to this party and drink and get into drugs and all kinds of doing all kinds of stupid stuff instead of actually studying and reading and finding out what really is everything that's really happening. And if we don't get together and if we don't back up this president, this great president we have right now, we're going to get destroyed. I mean, because the Democrat Party is no longer a Democrat Party, no longer a movement of righteousness for the Labor Party. You know, they're trying to give to reduce the right to vote to I think it was 16 years old. What does a 16-year-old know about voting? They don't even know where they're standing at. They're going to vote. They give them the privilege to vote. You know, the voting age should be raised like it used to be until you're 21 years old. And still, your mind might not even be ready for that. They should give them some kind of a course or give them some kind of a test. Okay, you're going to take this test or you're going to take this classes and see if you qualify, because a lot of these people, they don't know what the hell they're voting for and they don't care. Because I've seen in the interview, you know, interviewing people, they don't care. And they're so dumb up that like one doctor I was speaking to, I told him about what I'm reading and what I'm seeing and what I'm posting. And you know, the guy didn't want to hear. He said, I don't listen to Fox News. You know, and I tried very, with a lot of tactic, not to be disrespectful. But then I told him, you don't want to know the truth. Because I used to be a Democrat. I told him, look, I used to be a Democrat. What happened is you don't want to open your mind to hear the truth. You only want to hear what MSNBC is saying, or CNN is saying, all these liberal medias, which are fake news, just like Donald Trump said. That's what they are. And it's true. Because I used to hear, believe it or not, I used to listen to MSNBC, which is the worst. And to me, it was one of the best until I said, wait a minute. Something's not making sense here. Because at first, I didn't, like I said in another video, I didn't like Trump at first. Because I had another perception, another thought about him. But then when I hear him talking, I say, wait a minute, this guy is a true patriot. He supports Israel. While the Democrat Party, including Bernie Sanders, the AOC, they want to defund. Look, Israel is a country who's about the size of Cuba. I really don't know, because really I haven't checked the miles, but I think it could be more or less like as big as Cuba. And it's surrounded by all these Islamic countries surrounding this small little nation, and they want to even take that away. The only Democratic nation on earth in the Middle East, Israel. The Muslims do want to take over that nation. They don't want to look. All the nations used to be Iran and Turkey and a lot of other nations there. They used to be Christian. They were overrun by these people. They were murdered. Or they were terrorized, and they had to leave with their family. And if you don't believe me, listen to Bridget Gabriel, who was raised in Lebanon, the Pearl of the Orient. The the pearl of the Middle East. Excuse me. She was born there, she was raised there, and she talks about the horrific situation she had to go through with her family, where she was almost killed because these people persecuted the Christians and ran out the Christians. I mean, that's what they do. They multiply. They're religious to multiply and become the majority and take over. Look what's happening to Minnesota. And we're letting it happen. I mean, basically, Trump doesn't have too much power to stop it because Obama was financing these people, financing their churches, building them up. One in Alaska, I think, is one gigantic mosque in Alaska. He was financing and helping these people, these demonic people. And if you say something, they're going to put out a fatwa, what did they call it, against you. I mean, it's a death threat. Look, we had to have this guy killed. A fatwa, we want him dead. Because you're saying the truth. And the thing about it is, their religion was created on the basis of the Bible. 600 years after Christ, the guy who Muhammad, who wanted to become just as rich as the Jews, who couldn't read or write, but wasn't stupid. He said, yeah, I want to become just like them. I wonder how they're becoming so rich, filthy rich. And he got together with these scholars, and they told him, well, you create a religion. Oh, wow. And that was what happened. Because a lot of things, they mentioned Moses, they mentioned Jesus Christ, they mentioned the Virgin Mary. I didn't read, listen to this, I don't read the damn thing. But, I just hear about it and read some verses about it. And like ISIS said to the people of Iraq when they got in power there, at the time they said, we're gonna let you live, but if we hear you mention the word Jesus Christ, we're gonna kill you. Can you imagine that? They have it in their Quran. These people, these men, like Moses and these other religious people, that are real true Christians, but they don't. Oh, and plus Jews. But if you say something or mention it, they'll kill you. They'll cut your throat. They'll see wherever you're at. They'll shoot you. They'll kill you. They'll stab you to death. And they're doing these things in England. They're doing it in Canada. They're doing it in Switzerland. They're doing it all over. Even in the United States, there was a point where there was these massacres. And when they asked Obama about this, what was happening, he said, "No, that's not Islamic. Islam is a religion of peace." BS. It was all BS. He's an atrocious liar. Even a person who was raised with him told him, "Hey, if Obama, I know Obama, this lady who mentioned Obama from Hawaii, she said, hey, if he told you it was raining outside, you had to go outside and look, make sure it was true." He was an unreliable guy. I mean, this guy is a liar, thief, and criminal. He's a criminal. And if you look at the whole Democrat Party members, they all have a criminal past. It's become a refuge for criminals. If you're a criminal and you can't gain power nowhere, wherever you go, you're not going to be accepted in the Republican Party. Well, the place to go is the Democrat Party, because they're accepting it. Oh, I'm a criminal. I got a criminal past. Okay, you qualify. That's what it's become. You can't be trusted no more, unless they become another party. Maybe the Tea Party, which is a little bit more to the right than the Republican Party, and maybe the Republican Party become the true moderate party. But the Democrat Party, she didn't even exist anymore. I mean, whoever's voting for them, you know, doesn't know what the hell they're doing. It's a real, gigantic, big, atrocious mistake. Unless you want to happen to you, what's happened to Jose Daniel Ferrer and three other Cuban dissidents who are in prison right now. Without speaking about the thousands and thousands of prisoners that's been created from people who have become successful businessmen in the United States, because in Cuba they couldn't even live. They had a resort to stealing or doing things because they had no other choice, or their families would go hungry or die of hunger, and misery, and extreme misery. I'm gonna keep on talking. I'm gonna keep on talking until the day I die. I'm at the stage where I've done a lot in my life already, so I don't care speaking the truth. Unfortunately, what's being done in Cuba is being done in the United States now, because Roger Stone, an incredibly innocent, good person who is denouncing the wrongs and corruption inside the Democrat Party, they trumped up a charge because he couldn't remember. He was saying dates which then found out he couldn't remember well. The guy is, I think, is 70 years old. I'm not sure. An old man, and I gave him I don't know how many years in prison, which is incredible. Crimes that are proven that the Democrats have done, that they have done on purpose, and they really have done crimes, including murder. Oh, murder. Like I said, I used to be a Democrat. When I saw these things that happened, I saw that Bill Clinton and Hillary were their license for practicing law was banned. They were banned from practicing. And I think Obama and Michelle too, because they had ethic issues which were not compatible or were unlawful practice, and they banned them from practicing law again. They took away their license. A lot of people don't want to read about it, or don't want to know about it, but I've read about it. And what Nadler and Pelosi and Maxine Waters and all these other people are doing are criminal and have done crimes themselves. They're corrupt to the core. They have done things that are unlawful. They've become rich, filthy rich people on the salary, which wouldn't make them poor or be above middle class, but wouldn't make them rich. How did they do it? How did they do it? Because they were doing illegal transactions. Feinstein, this lady, Feinstein, another one. And if you look into the past, even one of the Republicans, I just forget the guy who was running for president, but he didn't win. I think it was against Obama. He's against Trump, but then we find out he's involved in these transactions. That's why they leave him alone. Because he agrees because he's one of the corrupt. And if you look at them all, they're all involved in some kind of a scheme, and they're scheming to wash your mind and make you believe that they're the people who's gonna fix this nation. When it's going to be the contrary. They lie and lie and lie and tell you, like I say, the communists, because it's no longer the Democrat Party. It's now the communist, is the CPU USA, Communist Party, United States of America. So watch and see what's happening. Don't close your mind to accept this unless you're just as corrupt. You're just as corrupt. Forget about it. Go ahead, go on. Because you're beyond help. But if you're a reasonable, good person, and you really want to know what the truth, go to these programs like Walk Away, these organizations, people who have walked away from the Democrat Party. And if you look at the news, Trump is gaining more and more black support because the black people know they are starting to see the benefits of the economy. They're part of it. It's no longer a white, it's everybody. Unless you want to live off like the Democrats would do, like Lyndon B. Johnson would do, we would have how you call it misery, a share of misery with the black community by just giving them food stamps and Medicare. Say we're going to have I don't know. He said something very very racist, but I just don't remember. I'm talking about Lyndon B. Johnson, Democrat. And you see Hillary Clinton once embracing the wizard of the Ku Klux Klan who died. And if the pictures is right there, and she was dressed once in black and Bill Clinton in black. One of the members of The View, Behar, pictured in black. These look and see who were the ones in charge during the American Civil War. The Democrat Party supporting slavery. The 50s and 60s and 40s and 30s, who were the Democrats supporting, putting up laws, racist laws against the blacks? Not letting them drink in water fountains and not letting them use the bathroom and all kinds of crimes to these people that the blacks have realized was really opening the doors to them and the opportunities and benefits to the economy, to the booming economy, is Trump. And the Latin people too, me included, because I'm Latin. Even though I'm white, I got green eyes. I got my hair used to be light brown. If I went to the States, I could be maybe confused in some certain way with a white person until I tell them my name. Once I tell them my name is Eduardo E. Rodriguez Candelario, and my both parents were born in Puerto Rico, forget about it. That's it. I'm gone. In some cases, because I'm not saying all of them. I've met some very good people in all races. That's why it amazes me, even though my own compatriots talking about the Americans are racist and this and that, I say, whoa, wait a minute. I've met some good white people. I've been discriminated, but then I met some very good black people. I met some very good African American people, and I met some good white people, and I've met good from other nationalities. There's all kind of people in every nationality. You got evil people everywhere. You got good people everywhere in all nationalities. Even, and this is going to sound very, very incredible, even Muslims. But there, I have certain degree of how you call it, a reserve, because the majority of them, they're taught into this, they're brainwashed to the point. Well, I remember one time when I was studying at the community college, there was one Muslim, this one Iranian group, and this one guy looked at me. I was trying to socialize with them, and one of them turned over to me and told me, "Did you hate this country?" And I looked at her and said, "What's the matter? What are you talking about? I was born here. You don't like it here? What the hell are you doing here? You should leave." I wish I didn't talk. I wish I could have talked something another way, maybe. But then I saw that he was scared of me because I went on him like flies on crack. Excuse me, I almost said the other word. But he looked scared. Maybe he thought about it. He said, I don't know if he reads, because I don't think these people read it. Because you got a lot of people like that here in this island, unfortunately. You know, you got a lot of people are patriots, are true patriots with the United States, and together with the United States, support the United States like I do. There's a lot of them. But then you got a lot of them, the mind is just as warped as the liberal mind, or liberal mind, the oppressive mind, the fascist mind. The true fascist mind are the Antifas and liberals and Democrats who try to portray themselves as really as liberal. They're not liberal. They're oppressive. They're tyrannic. You know, they're horrendous. Well, that'll be all for today. Unless I see something else, I'll probably tomorrow I'll come in again and keep on throwing mud on these people because that's what they deserve, and accusing them and criticizing them for what they are, criminals. So bye, and God bless you all. God bless America. God bless Donald Trump and his family. You're doing a great job, Mr. President. And now I direct myself towards Cuba. Libertad, freedom, freedom, freedom for Jose Daniel Ferrer and the 3 other dissidents who are in prison. And God bless the Venezuelan opposition who's fighting against this evil, evil, extremely evil, criminal regime of Nicolas Maduro. Also, God bless the North Koreans who had to live that nightmare. God bless them. And I hope to see soon in North Korea, or in Nicaragua, and the Chinese people can someday benefit of a free country from communist oppression. Have a nice day, everybody. God bless you all. I love you. Bye.